Okay, so Breaking the Code with Gabriella tells the story of a young girl who overcomes gender stereotypes in robotics, cementing herself as a role model for young women. The book includes science and engineering information, such as the design process and Java tutorials. As part of our initiative to empower young girls to pursue their interests in STEM, we're running the Breaking the Code with Gabriella Trailblazers in STEM Speaker Series, which explores the careers of women in science, technology, engineering, and math. The series aims to dispel gender stereotypes and aid students in getting advice on how to pursue their own passions. Today I'm here with Ebere Oyekwe. Now I'll let Miss Oyekwe introduce herself. So you can tell us anything about your journey in STEM, your future goals, and your current interests that you think are notable.
Thank you for the opportunity. So my name is Ebere Oyekwe. I have a degree in computer science. So my primary interest in the STEM field will be in technology. I also have been lucky enough to work in like the data and AI space primarily. So my background is heavily in data analytics. I have worked as a data scientist, and now I think I'm fully focusing on AI. Technology has always been something that or should I say STEM has always been something that I happen to be good at, especially math. My family is very analytical, so I think it's something that is hereditary. I don't know if that's something that people believe, but I do believe that I come from family with a lot of analytical thinkers. A lot of my siblings are really great at math as well. My dad's great at math. Um, so it just made sense that my career kind of aligns in with like the STEM field. Um, my interests, like I said, primarily what I do a lot of advocacy for like STEM and technology. I focus mainly on like data and AI because I think that those are really great fields that are futuristic and are going to be here for a long time. I advocate for STEM for women, for underrepresented groups that don't really have access to some of the resources, just creating like a funnel to kind of help them get the resources that they need to excel in this field. So that's primarily what I do. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for the introduction. So, you founded Techtalent, a data and AI consultancy service. What inspired you to start this company, and what's been your journey with leading it?
It's been very interesting. It's been an interesting journey. I think that I founding the company was very accidental. I'll say that. It wasn't something that I planned. When I started advocating for, I would say, data and AI online because it was what I did for work. And I realized that there were a lot of people like me that didn't even know that they could do something like that. Um, it just kind of happened that a lot more people were interested. And I think that when I started, primarily for me was, oh, I'm trying to like help people that look like me understand that they can do the things that I do. But I quickly realized like even other people who don't necessarily look like me would say, hey, yeah, we need this information as well. Like what you're doing doesn't solely fit for people who look like you, like everyone can access this information. So I started to see like the gap with like the knowledge when it comes to like technology and data and AI. And so with that advocacy came the need for the knowledge. And I knew that I would not be able to help people gain the knowledge without structure, without a proper company. I knew that just telling people about it wasn't enough, right? So we had to start working towards putting things in place that would not only tell people about the resources that are available to them, but hold their hand through the process as they kind of like gain the skills that they need and also help like small business, which is what the consultancy aspect of the of what we do is, help like small to mid-sized businesses who don't really have the resources to access experts, um, say data scientists, help them leverage analytics in a way that it's affordable and just give them access to that technology. So that's primarily how it came about. To answer your question on how the journey has been, it's not easy to be a female who's founding a company. I think that has been my biggest challenge, just navigating, trying to work with other people in a very male dominated industry. But so far, so good. I'm really thankful. I'm, happy for the progress and the strides that we've made so far. And I'm very optimistic about the future.
All right, thank you so much. So, delving a little bit more into your current career, could you speak a little bit on your role and what your day-to-day work looks like?
Okay, so before this, I was consulting for a fintech company where I did data engineering for them. So pretty much just helping with data migration or, helping them build like what we call tables in their data warehouse. I don't know how technical you are. But right now I am fully focused on my company, which is TechLane. I am right now just wanting to give that 110% and see where that goes. And hopefully, yeah, just ride that all through to the end. But right now, I'm giving my company 110%. So my day-to-day typically would look like collaborating with other founders, working on our product, which we're building with like devs, just translating the vision to the people that I work with, team meetings. I also do a lot of we do an event. I don't know if you've seen that. We do an event quarterly. So that's a lot of planning goes into that. So my day-to-day now looks like just managing people, talking to other founders, networking, and just trying to have the most updated information so that I can share that with my community as well.
All right, so you mentioned your event, which is the Connect to Networking event, I believe. Can you
Yes.
just speak a little bit more about that?
Yes, so that event kind of sprung up during the heavy layoffs. I noticed during the layoffs that there was a lot of, I would say, there wasn't a lot of morale when it came to technology. A lot of people were losing faith in tech because of the amount of layoffs. And so, as someone who does a lot of advocacy, I didn't want people to give up on technology because I know that that's really the future. And so one of the ways that we wanted to continue to encourage the community to just, understand that this is a phase and it would pass was the event because people typically would people, that's something that would cheer people up as opposed to how technology typically is very boring. You have to be on your laptop, that's not that's not very encouraging, right? And then I also realized that in my personal career, one of the things that have helped me really well is just the network of people that I have access to. And by talking to a lot of other people, I noticed that they don't have access to this information because they don't have the network, right? To tell them that, hey, this is how you do things, this is how you brand yourself, this is how, So not only was it just a good way to boost morale, it was also like to introduce people to the concept of networking, to the concept of, hey, if you want more information, you have to step out of like your comfort zone and try to gain this information from other people who have the information, right? Teaching people to start learning like how to leverage their soft skills. I also noticed that a lot of people who are technical like myself are typically introverted, so they don't network a lot. And so that was another thing that we wanted to do with the event was create a space where introverts can try, where they can come and practice how to interact with other people, because that's something that you need to get ahead in life, like in your job, in your career. You need other people, right? So if you don't have the right soft skills, you're definitely going to struggle. And so there was just a lot of value with putting that event together that we thought that it was just the right thing to do at that time. Initially, we thought it was going to be one event, but we got so much great feedback, and now we did the second one, and then we're about to do the third event in July. So really high level backstory about the event.
I love that. And that's such a great idea because networking is just so important for fields like tech.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so throughout your journey, what challenges have you faced as a woman in a male dominated field? And can you tell us a bit about how you've overcome them?
I think being very assertive is like super critical to succeed as a woman in tech. I think that when I started, I would hide my femininity because I just really wanted to come out very strong. And I was having this conversation with a friend recently where I am a very thorough person, but I'm also really feminine because I'm a woman, right? And I think that it's hard for me to find the balance between both, especially in like the corporate space, because I know that femininity is typically seen as weakness. Um, and I don't necessarily think that. I think that there can be strength in being feminine. Um, so it gets very challenging. I think that's like the biggest challenge, just knowing when to turn on your feminine side and when to shut it off. Um, but I think now I'm beginning to find that balance between, okay, I think it's a good time to be more feminine. I think it's a good time to be more stern and just like put my foot on the ground for this. And I think for women in technology, we obviously don't want to lose our feminine side, but you do need to know when it's time to know to let your hair down and when to have it in a bun and just like go and go and go. So I think that's the biggest challenge. It took me time to figure out, okay, now is a good time to like show this side, or now is a good, but I think the longer I stay in the industry, I'm realizing that the feminine side is also like an asset. Like it can be good, but you just know how to use it strategically. So I think that's where I am right now.
All right, it's a really great answer. So I know that you're active on social media, educating your audience on analytics and AI and giving insight into your job. So
Right.
can you tell us more about what you hope to accomplish through social media and how do you hope to impact prospective data analysts?
I think social media kind of started out for me, like, and that's really how everything that I am now started out through social media. So I think that that's I owe social media a lot. And so for me, it was just a medium for sharing information. Like I said, when I started, I didn't really think anything of it. But there was an interest, right? A lot of people were interested in it. And, we just kept going because they wanted more. They would ask questions about this. And then, you try to provide the answer to that question. And then it just kept growing. I think for me, the goal would just be to continue to reach more people. Obviously now we're doing a lot more structured work as opposed to when I started where it was just like sharing out resources. Now we have the event, now we have the consultancy service, we have an edtech program where we train underrepresented group on like data analytics and AI and things like that, just helping them gain access to these resources that can help them learn the skills that they need. So the vision has kind of like shifted a bit from what it was when I started. I was just sharing free resources online. And I think for me, the goal will continue to be to reach more people. We focus more like on a represented groups, but that's like everybody can have access to the work that we do, right? It's not solely for a represented group. If you feel like you're interested in technology, you want to learn, there's room for you. With any of our services. So yeah, that's the goal.
All right, well, I for one am a huge fan of your social media account.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
yeah, of course. Okay, so if there is any piece of career related advice you could give to your middle school self, what would it be?
Um, if there was any piece of advice that I would give to my middle school self, it would be to be more assertive. It would definitely be to have more confidence in like my work. I think that being someone who again is introverted and I put my head down a lot at the beginning of my career and I just did the work, right? And I didn't really advocate for myself at the start of my career. And I think that I would have gone a lot farther if I did that. So my middle school self, I would say work more on like the soft skills, which I know is crucial now. Because I focus so much on like the hard skills, the math, the the numbers, things which are great. But I think the soft skills are also like I'm learning now how important it is to have like those really great communication skills and people skills and things like that. So that's what I would advise my young self to prioritize those things earlier on, as opposed to like jumping in and learning through like my experience that those things are actually important as well.
Okay. And then so building off the previous question, what advice would you give to young girls who are looking to get involved with AI and data analytics?
The biggest advice I would give is that you need a lot of resilience and you need interest. I think one mistake that a lot of people make is that they think it's something that is easy. I tell people don't come into this field thinking that it's something that it's easy. It requires a lot of work. If you want to succeed, obviously you're going to be competing with like men, you're going to be competing with other people who are smart. it the reason why they pay you so much is because it's such a competitive role, and when more is given to you, more is required from you. So you do need to come with the mindset of continuous learning. You need to come with the resilience to fail and not let that failure stop you from continuing in your like journey. You need to come with the mindset of just success and the hunger to succeed. If you don't have, and that's why I also mentioned interest, because if you don't have these things, I find a lot of people, they may just want to like learn data or like AI solely because they hear that it's high paying. If you don't have the tenacity and like the grit to continue learning and continue to deliver, you're going to fall off eventually, right? So it doesn't only require interest. It requires you to be resilient. It requires you to learn how to, like we're saying, like network with people that will continue to encourage you to stay up to date, because the field also changes really quickly. As we're saying, like things are moving more towards AI now. I remember when it was just Excel, like Excel was like the biggest thing for data, right? Look at how much changes we've made. So it's there's a lot more that goes into just working in data and AI as opposed to how cool it sounds, right? So you need to be doing it for the right reason. That would be the biggest advice that I would give.
I love that. And as a young woman in STEM, I'm learning about the importance of resilience right now. Can you tell us about a time where you had to use resilience, or you just faced a big struggle?
Um, oh, there's been so many times. I think I, as a founder, like I think resilience has always been something that I'm not someone who gives up easily. I think that's my biggest strength. And it's something that I've always had, but I was tested a lot when I decided to found my company because, it was a very new area for me, and there was a lot of failures, a lot for me to say, I'm done with this. And I said, I'm done with this so many times. And, but then I would say, oh, well, let's try again one more time, with working with the right people, finding the right person to work with, the right strategy. There's just been, I think that normally I tell people to be resilient with something like job searching. And to me, that's hard. But when I tried to build a company, now that's
Yeah,
that's twice as
for
hard.
sure.
The level of resilience that you need to succeed there, it's crazy. And I think that that was the biggest test for me. And I think the fact that we're still going is just um because I am resilient, because I know that so many people would have like quit. But I really believe in like seeing my vision through, and yeah, that's been the biggest challenge for me in terms of like how I've used my resilience. Yeah.
Right, well, that's very admirable. So, can you tell us about how viewers can stay connected with you and continue to follow your journey?
Yeah, for sure. So, to stay connected with me, I think social media will be the best place. I am on LinkedIn. I have Instagram, which is my biggest platform. I also have TikTok and Facebook and Twitter. All of it is Nello Techie. So that's N as in Nancy, E as in elephant, L as in love, O as in orange, T as in Tom, E as in elephant, C as in cat, H as in house, I as in ink, E as in elephant, which is Nello Techie. And then my LinkedIn is my full name, which is Ebere Chinelo Oyekwe. And hopefully that's gonna be somewhere here so you guys can see that. But yeah,
For sure.
that's the best way to reach me.
All right, well, thank you so much for this interview and all of your amazing insight. We really appreciate you taking the time.
No problems. I had fun doing this.
All right, well, thank you so much.